Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So today we are going to talk about the future of the foreign policy of the United States. And we're going to talk about where that future lies geographically, where the United States is about to become incredibly active. Along the way, we're going to talk about Russia, and we're going to talk about Africa. For years on the channel, we've talked about how Africa is going to be the new area where the world powers are incredibly interested, where they're all going to be playing their little world control games. We've discussed the little steps the United States has taken along the way to get ready for this, such as the creation of Africa Command. We talked about how the deprioritization of the Middle East will lead to Africa becoming a priority. The question is, when does that start? Now. Right now. There is a bill currently in Congress. I think it already passed the House. It's H.R. 7311. It is titled the Countering Malign Russian Activities in Africa Act. And it lays out the strategy. It lays out what's going to happen and how the United States is going to attempt to bring nations in Africa closer to the U.S., to bring them into the U.S. sphere of influence. And it's framed, it's given a very thin veneer of really being about countering Russia. But it's a veneer, and you can see that in the way the bill's laid out. It is the sense of Congress that the United States should regularly assess the scale and scope of the Russian Federation's influence and activities in Africa that undermine United States objectives and interests. Okay, that's the introduction. And determine how, A, to address and counter such influence and activities effectively, including through appropriate United States foreign assistance programs. Okay? And B, to hold the Russian Federation accountable. The framing of Russia is an afterthought throughout all of this. This is Congress telling the State Department to get ready, that Africa is about to become the priority. They have this thin veneer of countering Russian influence, which it's true, no doubt, the United States is going to set out to do that. But to counter Russian influence, they're going to be running their own influence operations. Aside from that, openly stating that this is to counter Russian influence means that their influence operations, the U.S. influence operations, well, they're not really against China. That's just a happy coincidence, right? So how are they going to do it? They're going to strengthen democratic institutions, improve standards for human rights, labor, and anti-corruption activities, monitor natural resources and extractive industries. Yeah, you knew that was going to be in there. And that's the plainly stated strategy. And they're going to use State Department and USA to do this. That's the carrot. Just remember, Africa Command was created. There's a stick there as well. Now, if you want to know what these types of influence operations really look like and get in depth on it, over on the other channel, The Roads with Bo, there is a video titled The Roads to Ukraine. And it goes through Russian and U.S. influence operations in the country since 1991. It appears that the United States is going to run the exact same template, which is to create de facto agents of influence. They're going to create these democratic institutions. They're going to elevate cultural leaders who are in favor of the West. it appears, at least from what we've seen so far, the United States intends on using soft power to establish this sphere of influence, which is, I mean, it's still establishing a sphere of influence, but it's better for it to be done with soft power than a gun, I guess. So if you want to know what it looks like, go there. Because the idea is they elevate cultural icons who are friendly to U.S. interests. Therefore, those people get more of a platform. Therefore, they influence thought in the country. Therefore, the country naturally draws closer to the United States and away from Russia and, coincidentally, China. So that looks like the game plan, which, I mean, it is still maintaining a U.S. sphere of influence. But I have to be honest, after the creation of Africa Command, I don't want to say I'm happy about it, but I'm relieved. How about that? Generally speaking, these types of operations are not horrible for the countries that they're run in. At the same time, remember, this is the carrot. There's always the stick that goes along with it. And that's something that we definitely have to remember here. The United States is committed to this course. In fact, in this bill, I want to say Congress is asking for reports for the next 5 years on how it's going to run. So this is going to be a long-term foreign policy strategy that the U.S. is going to try to implement. And it's going to look very similar to the campaign in Ukraine. It's going to be an ad buy. It's going to be a massive advertising campaign saying, yay, United States and the West, you don't really want to have anything to do with Russia or China. I mean, coincidentally, China. They're not actually listed in the act. But that's going to be the goal. So the current situation, Russian aggression in Europe, gave the United States a perfect pretext to do what they were going to do anyway. I mean, we have been talking about this on this channel for literally years. We knew this was coming. But they gave them a way to do it and make it seem as though it's all about protecting Africa. And you have to get into the details to realize it's about maintaining U.S. influence and monitoring natural resources and extractive industries. So we've been talking about it so long that I just felt like this was something that should definitely be covered, because it's no longer a hypothetical of me saying, hey, Africa's the new hotspot. This passes, Africa is the new hotspot right then. The United States will be dumping tons of resources into influencing the events on that continent. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.